So what's going on in the world of real estate news lately? Well, there is no slowdown of mega mansion spec builds happening in Bel Air, California. Some scientists at MIT have developed a new plastic that is supposedly stronger than steel. People are dropping big money on Metaverse land, so I guess Facebook isn't the only company betting big on the Metaverse. And one of the biggest real estate land opportunities that the East Coast has ever seen has become available, which is creating the next billionaire's bidding war. In today's episode, we're gonna do another real estate headlines deep dive, and we'll dive into each one of these news articles plus a few others. Stick around if you're into that kind of thing, because this week we've got some good ones. Developers building luxury mega mansions on spec in Bel Air has been happening for decades now, but it seems like the bar is being raised every time as builders are adding more square footage and more amenities to each project. The new construction project at 1200 Bel Air Road is no exception to that progression, which makes sense because this 35,000 square foot home is perched in the hills of one of the most expensive neighborhoods on the planet. Just listed for $139 million, this home has 12 bedrooms, 18 bathrooms, and according to the description, it is 5 years in the making. Naturally, there are views as far as you can see. There are 23-foot ceilings in the main living spaces, huge walls of glass that cater to the taste of the modern buyer. It's got rare materials sourced from Italy and all over the world throughout. The primary suite has this crazy oak cladding on the walls, and of course the bathroom is basically like a big spa, and the closet looks like a Beverly Hills boutique. There's a spiral staircase from the lower level that wraps a massive 44-foot chandelier unlike anything I've ever seen before. Of course, there's a decked out bar, which is inside of the home's nightclub, which also showcases your nicest cars on a rotating lift in the backdrop. The entertainer's level has a wine storage room that holds more bottles than you will ever need, and probably one of the coolest light fixtures I've ever seen. Just in case you need to get out of the LA heat, there's a temperature-controlled vodka tasting room made out of ice. Yes, literally an ice bar inside of this house. The place has everything else that you'd want in a $139 million home, like a gym with a rock climbing wall, a movie theater, plenty of bedrooms for your guests, a big pop-up screen behind your swimming pool with a bar in the back that has swing seats suspended from the roof. The mansion is nicknamed La Fin, which means the end in French, and the lot was purchased by real estate developer Joseph Englanoff for just $5 million back in 2014. By the way, if that name Joseph Englanoff is familiar to you, that is probably because Joseph was one of the investors on Niall Niami's spec project The One in Bel Air, but hard telling if Joseph will ever make his money back on that project because it still hasn't sold yet. My quick math tells me that Joseph probably has somewhere between $80 and $100 million into this mega mansion that he just built that he's calling La Fin, which means that if he gets anywhere close to his asking price, he's gonna be walking away with a payday of north of $50 million when this place ultimately sells. It's going to be hard to top that last story, but in other news, we have some scientists at MIT that have developed a lightweight plastic stronger than steel that they're saying is going to change the world. Now, at first glance, this story doesn't seem all that positive. I mean, we all know that plastic is pretty bad for the environment, and because of that, there are people and businesses all over the world who have been working for years to eliminate plastic things like straws and cups from their inventory and replace them with paper alternatives. See, the reason that plastic is no good is because since it's compromised of so many toxic compounds and chemicals, it's really tough to break down, so oftentimes it ends up not being recycled and instead ending up in the dump or even worse, in the ocean. But what's cool about this MIT project is that these students are working on new plastic that is super strong and contains none of the disadvantages of the plastic that we know today, and they're calling it 2-DPA-1. This 2-DPA-1 stuff is supposed to be 2 times stronger than steel, which is pretty crazy when you look at it because in the hand it just looks like a bunch of measly little beads, but in real world use it can be put in car parts and used to coat cell phones. Even though this stuff is crazy strong, in fact 6 times stronger than bulletproof glass, it doesn't sound like the plan is to use it to replace building materials yet. I think that it'll probably be a while before engineers get on board with using this 2-DPA-1 stuff in construction, but after more testing is done, if it ends up being proven that this stuff is in fact twice as strong as steel and better for the environment, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw new skyscrapers start to go up using this new plastic as their backbone. Devin Booker just bought a house out here in my neck of the woods in Phoenix, and it's just too good to be left off the list today. If you don't know who Devin Booker is, he is a professional basketball player, Booker is a 25-year-old guard who plays for the Phoenix Suns, and maybe I'm biased, but he's one of the best on the court. It sounds like Booker has been thinking about buying a house out here in Arizona for a while. He said not long ago in an interview that anytime he would walk into his friend's home lately, he's just been a sponge asking questions and absorbing everything that he sees. Another factor that was really important to him is he also said that he wants to have his team over to his new house a lot. So, of course, he outfitted this new home with 12-foot long sofas, a custom poker table, a bunch of wine storage, and a huge swimming pool. Basketball players are massive. Most of them are 6 feet tall or even taller, so you've got to think about that when you're making design decisions for your new home. Of course, when Devin Booker bought this new house with his girlfriend Kendall Jenner, they didn't just show up in a U-Haul with all of their stuff. They hired a bunch of designers and decorators to outfit the house exactly to their likings. Architectural Digest visited Devin at the house, and he did an MTV Cribs-style tour last week, so if you guys want to see more of that, go check it out. But the highlights are that the great room has huge ceilings and looks out over the pool and to the mountains in the distance. The bar and poker room is cool too because it also looks out over the pool and out to the views. The kitchen is really nice. It's got a ton of marble, 2 islands, custom cabinetry, and it's right off the living room and backyard, so it's perfect for entertaining. In the bedroom, he shows off his custom bed that was apparently made to fit a basketball player. And of course, they show off his closet and all of his shoes. He's got a pretty big shoe collection, but he says Converse is one of his favorites, which is cool because that happens to be my favorite shoe too. They round the tour out with the backyard, which is by far my favorite part of the house. The pool is massive. It's got a ton of loungers in the waiting area and then places to sit around the pool. And there's a couple different fire features around too, which surprisingly do get used a lot out here in Arizona. So Devin's new house is nothing like that crazy Bel Air mega mansion that we were just looking at a minute ago. But I always love looking at these more modest mansions because they are just so much more relatable. The Phoenix luxury market is heating up a ton, but it's still nothing like the price point of Bel Air. I couldn't find how much Devin paid for this house, but my guess is he paid no more than $7 or $8 million for the place. Next, we're getting into a very different price point than Devin Booker's home. We're talking about what Forbes is calling the next billionaire bidding war as America's last great piece of real estate hits the market. What they're selling here is called the Reserve at Sea Island. This place is a 50-acre oceanfront parcel of land full of beaches, dunes, and palm trees. The Reserve at Sea Island is located along the southernmost point of the coastal Georgia resort. If you look at it on Google Maps, you have to zoom in pretty close to see exactly what's for sale here. It's this long strip of land right here. It might not look like much, but like I said, this is a 50-acre piece of land, and it's got 4,000 feet of beachfront. At first, I honestly didn't really understand what was all that exciting about this sliver of land in Georgia. I mean, as far as I knew, some of the riskiest places in America to live were Bel Air, the Hamptons, and Palm Beach. But after doing some digging, I quickly realized that this Sea Island part of Georgia is next level. First of all, they are calling this lot one of the last undisturbed, contiguous, neighborless private properties on the East Coast, and they go on to say that the geography and pedigree is enough to build America's next generational family compound that would rival anything the Carnegies or Kennedys could have imagined. The Sea Island area and the resort at Sea Island has been host to the Rockefellers, the Fords, the Eisenhowers, and the Bushes, just to name a few. And nowadays there are 5 hotels, 5 PGA caliber golf courses, award-winning restaurants, and apparently some of America's best hospitality that you can get. If you want to be part of this Billionaires Club Sea Island, you're going to need to cough up $150,000 per person and expect to wait about 10 years before you even get in. Anyways, I looked on Zillow and the land is not showing listed for sale here, but going to the Reserve at Sea Island's website, and now I know why this lot is not showing on Zillow. The website starts by saying that some opportunities happen once in a lifetime, but this one is rarer still. And it goes on to say that I have been selected as one of only a handful of individuals to be presented with an opportunity that comes once in a generation. Here it says that the price guidance is available upon request, which is just a nice way of saying if you have to ask, you can't afford it. There's not much more to this webpage other than a handful of photos of things to do around Sea Island, some more really fancy marketing language, and some really nice high-resolution pictures of the lot. And last, they rounded out with an invitation to participate, which is pretty much saying that if you submit your information, you are applying to be eligible to submit an offer on this place. Talk about secret lives of the super rich. I cannot imagine who will actually end up with this little strip of land in Georgia, but once it does sell, something tells me that this will be the last time we hear about this stretch of sea island. It is not easy picking the headlines for these videos because every time there are literally dozens to choose from. I mean, along with everything we talked about today, we've still got reports about the Metaverse fetching $500 million in digital real estate sales last year, with that figure projected to double in 2022. Homes are once again selling faster than ever, with the average days on market around 30 in most major cities. Plus, we've got a list from Dezeen this week with the 6 most architecturally significant ski lifts that exist around the world, which is kind of weird, but to be honest, it's also kind of cool. If you guys have any topics you want to see me talk about in a future video, please let me know about it in the comments below. I've got a ton of great ideas from you all in the past, and I always love going into research mode when you guys give me suggestions. Anyways, hit that like button if you liked the video today. That really helps my channel out a lot. But that's all I've got for you guys this time. So until next time, see ya.